What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Doe Show. It's your boy Dame D.
And your boy E Skeezy.
Today we're going to be talking about generational curse. And before we get started on today's show, we have a guest, and I'll allow her to introduce herself to the show.
I am DJ Shawnee D from Chicago, living in the D.
What up, though? What up, though? DJ Shiny D. Welcome
What
back
up,
to the
what
show.
up?
Go
Good
ahead,
to
E
have
Ski,
you.
lead it off. What you say? I ain't hear you.
I was just telling the good to have her. Happy
Thank
New
y'all for
Happy New
having me.
Year to you too, DJ
Happy,
Shiny D.
happy
I don't
New
think we've
Year.
done a show with you since the New Year.
No, and I've been missed. I know
Yeah,
I
you
have.
definitely have. You definitely have. It's always a pleasure doing shows with you.
It's nice.
Yep, yep. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about generational curse, but before we get the today's show started, I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I also want to thank the subscribers who subscribed to the show recently, and to the old subscribers. I need for you guys to continue to like, comment, and make sure that you share. It's definitely been helping the show grow, and just make sure you continue to help us grow, with your contribution on sharing and making your comments. So E Skis, we're gonna go ahead and start the show off. We're gonna talk about generational curse. I think that's something that we all face in our life. A generational curse can, come from all forms of life. And I'll start it off. We all have parents. And a generational curse can come through divorce. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
If you have
mhm.
parents that come from a family that comes from divorce, they can learn traits from that. And also, when your parents have you, those are traits and things that they can put off on you. So, those are just that's just one example of how a generational curse can, hurt a person or individual. So, I'm allow you to elaborate on that, DJ Shiny D, meaning that this was your topic. She wanted to bring this up, so we're gonna give you first dibs at it.
I actually think, when I called you, I really wanted to know like what steps we were going to take going forward
Okay,
with our generational curses.
right.
And so we know what they are, we can identify them, but what are we doing to heal them? And what are we doing so that we don't pass them on to our children? And I think that's something big, especially for Black men who are not really taught to be vulnerable and not really to show their feelings and to be hard all the time. I think you guys really need it the most because I always feel like Black men set the temperature in a
Okay,
relationship. And so if you're healing you, any woman that loves and respects you is going to follow your lead,
right.
if she respects and loves you. So I just think that going forward, we need to put plans in place. Like, look, like, would you be comfortable with talking about some of your traumas?
Yeah, I have no problem opening up a little bit, talking about a few things about, generational curse, or what goes, I mean, yeah, I have no problem. So yeah, it just depends on what you ask me or, what direction it goes in.
Yeah, so say for instance, if you like, I don't know what your childhood traumas were. I know mine was, everybody cheating.
Right.
Everybody cheating on each other, like not just my mother and father, but aunts and uncles and everybody. So, and then I have daddy issues.
Right.
I have daddy not making me a priority in his life, an issue. And
Okay.
so, like now, when I deal with men, I know it's me because I know that I'm still that little girl if I don't heal myself. And part of that is, when I deal with men now, if they tell me they're gonna call at 8, at 8:30, I'm doing something else. I ain't even answering the phone no more. And I gotta stop doing that,
Right.
because I know. That's my daddy issues.
Yeah. And we all have daddy issues, especially those who and that's why I brought up divorce first, who comes from a single home, a single parent home, I should say. So but Skis, I'll go ahead and let you elaborate on what LaShawn was bringing it up. She was just talking about, the daddy issues and what that has to do with, the generational curse. I don't know if you heard what she was saying, but yeah, elaborate on what she was saying, and then I'll give my thoughts on that.
Well, First of all, the first step or process to getting better or healing or anything, first you have to recognize something. You got to identify it, and then you could take it from there. Before somebody could be recovered from like alcoholism, they have to first admit that they're an alcoholic. If you
Right.
don't recognize when the spirit is present, then what spirit are you talking to? Because there's plenty of them. So it's how you address it, how you handle it, because we don't get to pick and choose what families we're born into. It happens. But
Mhm.
you don't have to be like your mother. You don't have to be like your father. You don't have to be like your grandma, your granddad. We choose to do these things or mimic after these people because these are the people we see up close the most. Do you
Yeah.
follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All we can do is make what we see, what we hear, and that becomes our behavior. If we saw our moms talking back to our dad, then uh eventually we'll think it's okay for our wives to talk back to us or vice versa. If you saw your dad hitting on your mom, you'll think it's okay to hit on a woman. You wouldn't second guess. You would think it was your nature because these are the people teaching you and training you. And we're going to stick to the topic of generational curses. These are things that have been passed down. If your father was a lumberjack, 9 times out of 10, you may be a lumberjack because you saw how he handled trees or whatever. You saw how it fed the family or whatever it was. So that's all you will know. But it's more out there to learn and it's more out there for you to grasp. But if this is all we see at the moment, this is all we gonna mimic and copy. We gonna take these curses into our family, and we gonna show our son that, and then he gonna show his son. It's same way with thugging. If you a thug, you out here in the streets thugging, and your son see you, guess what? He gonna say, "Oh, my daddy a thug. My daddy ain't taking that shit, so I ain't taking that shit." And if he hear his daddy went to jail for murder or something, 9 times out of 10 he might be handy with the two. And these are things generational curse, not just curse. You got to separate the two because a curse is a curse, but a curse is something put on you to hurt you, bring you down, and keep you distraught. Now, generational curse is just what we seen throughout our families. And nobody took the time to do different or
Right.
take a stand and say, hey, this is wrong. Or, hey, that's how you break it. First of
Yeah.
all, you got to recognize it, then break it.
Yeah.
Just because your daddy might have turned gay or something in his late days. You could break that. You don't choose to be gay. That's something that ain't no generational curse. That's a choice. All of these pretty much are choices. But because you see it so much and that's all you grew up around, you think it's okay to make that choice. And once
Mhm.
Right.
you make that choice, you hit a female one time, the second one gonna be a breeze, and the third one, and it's the same way your daddy was acting. If you see your parents did good, then yeah, it's okay to mimic that. How come that don't become a generational curse? But to see them
Right.
doing bad and I tore their family down, and you to do the same thing, of course, it's a curse.
Right. See,
Something
and I
to
want to
hurt.
go back, and
Something
it look like Big Dave getting ready to join the show. What up, though, Big Dave? Unmute yourself if you can hear me. But I want to get back to what LaShawn was saying. I think we all, especially those that come from single households, have daddy issues. And I can, give a testimony. Just about. How it affect me, to this day. I still have issues and I grew up kind of, I'm not going to say mad with my mother, but, just kind of upset with and I'm not going to even say with life, but just how things went, because I remember the fights and the arguments and that went on throughout the household, and I always said to myself that, especially with my son, with my 2-year old now, I want to show him, what my father didn't show me is a mother and a father in the same household, being able to just to get along and be peaceful. You know what I mean? I want to break that generational curse that I grew up in, because I'll be honest, My father, well, you know what? I won't even go that far because my father and his mother and father, they worked together for years before they separated, but they ultimately separated. So that would be
Mhm.
a part of a generational curse, you know. But it ultimately it's up to back to what E. Skeezy was saying. It's up to the individual to kind of break that curse. You know, you saw what was going on with your parents, you know, and when it comes for a time for you to grow up and become an adult, you kind of want to do better than what your parents did, you know. So, but we all have issues. We all have daddy issues, and we all have mother. Some have mother issues. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, it's just about, you know, doing what we're doing, coming up with a solution and talking to each other, you know, and going about that way, LaShawn. So, Big Dave, I don't know if you can hear me or hear us, but welcome to the show. We just sitting here talking about generational curse. LaShawn, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go on and, you know, ask
Yeah,
the
we
next
gonna,
question, going on with the next question if you want to ask that.
yeah, I always got something to say. Always. It don't matter. All right. But I do want to know, like, I guess the point I'm getting to is what you got a 2-year-old, E. Do you have any minor sons?
Oh yeah, I got minor and older.
Okay, so what are you going to do this year to prevent your children from going to jail? What are you gonna do? He too. So what are you gonna do to put a plan in place so he's not a thug?
That's just the basic manners. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Do what you told. Just don't be bad. Don't get in trouble. Do what you could afford. Think before you act, simple things. But you are where you are because of the choices. My father was a minister and he taught me nothing but the word of God, the right way. And I still went out and made my choices. You still got to deal with peer pressure and everything. Your neighborhood, you will be a product of your environment unless you make choices to do otherwise. That's why the words say train up a child in the way they should go. So all I can do is train them up in the right way, the way I think he won't get in trouble or what won't get him arrested or in a fight or choosing the wrong spouse. That's all I could do. But he'll still have those decisions to make on his own.
How
And
old is he?
what you say?
How old is he?
Well, my youngest boy is 5.
Okay.
My oldest is already 26. You know,
Yeah, yeah. And
and
I
he
yeah,
turned out pretty well, regardless to how you feel they're taking your words or your instructions. You may not be around to see that seed grow in them. They may be telling their kids the same thing you was telling them. You see what I'm saying? Because I
yeah,
found myself teaching my kids a lot that my father taught me. You see what
yeah,
I'm saying? Nothing wrong. And things that I know they're not ready to handle. I don't speak around kids. I don't like talking grown up talk around kids,
yeah,
because that can jeopardize, a mental behavior pattern or anything. We was talking about that earlier. That's what we was talking about, Dame. I got it back now. But the thing I could do is just train him up in the way he should go, and when he get older, he won't depart from it. To know the difference between right and wrong, and to make that rational, conscious-minded decision to
mm,
do wrong, then you'll pay for it later. But
yeah.
nobody really want to do wrong and pay for it later. They do wrong and feel like they
They can
may
get
get
away
away
with it.
with it. I
Mhm,
teach them don't worry about getting away with it because you never get away with it. You might
mm.
get away with that one thing, but something gonna catch up with you, and you're gonna be paying for everything else you done already thought you got away with.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, it's not gonna always be the same method. Like, as Black people, we have to realize that, okay, that's good to a certain point, but at a certain point, we're gonna have to do more than that, and then more than that, and then expose them to something else. And me being a former youth director, I have worked with thousands of children. I don't have any children myself, but I have worked with thousands. And I could tell you that the kids that did the best were the kids that were busy. They were on football, they were on basketball, they were on baseball, they were, they didn't have a lot of idle time. And I think that, part of like at 2 years old, ain't a lot you can do. But okay, put them in some swim lessons. Like
Right.
put them ready for
Right.
sports, And so those are things that I think we need, because sometimes we think kids don't listen as much as they do. They
Right.
are sponges. Whatever
Especially
you
at that
like,
age.
they like. Man.
I told my son that the 5-year-old we're talking about, he got a lot of energy. He can't be still. No, we're not finna label him ADHD.
Mm-mm.
Do is wait till he old enough, and we gonna direct that energy. We gonna aim that energy. I
Into a
will take
positive
him
way.
to the basketball. I'll take him to try out for Pee Wee
Mhm.
football. Since
Yeah.
you got all that energy, I want to see you chase the quarterback around and sack him. I'm gonna turn that energy into fuel and make him great with what the world try to shut down and put a label on. You see,
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
best DBs right now, that's ADHD. They can't be
Mhm.
still. They quick. They fast. They trying to get to you. That same way your kids run up to you all day. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry.
Mhm.
Can't
Mhm.
take them, and that's
But
how.
you gotta think about it. If he 5, he ain't got no job for real. Like, so he ain't got nothing but time and energy.
You got to.
And if
Straight
I
up.
see you sitting on the couch, then that means you ain't doing nothing. Let me go up there and, get on your nerves a little bit because you ain't doing
What up, though, Big Dave? Welcome to the
What
show.
up?
I see you
What
got
up?
your technical difficulties figured out.
Man, really, I'm sitting up here listening to y'all preaching, y'all talking good. I really ain't thought about mine being muted over here. And then I said, hold on, let me see what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, he
Right,
said it
right.
because
What
you
up,
was
though? What
muted.
up?
Yeah, no, we're just sitting here talking about generational curse.
I
How
hear y'all.
it affects generation by each generation. And I'll go back
Exactly.
to beginning what I was talking about. Well, you know what? Before we go further, I'm allowing you to introduce yourself to the show.
It's Real Talk with Big Dave. What up, though?
What up, dog?
There we go.
What
There we
up?
go. So, but yeah, before we go any further, I'll let DJ Shiny D finish up saying what she was saying, and then you can come on in and join us whenever you're ready, Dave, with the conversation.
I got you.
All right. So I was just, in conclusion to this segment, I was just saying, what are we doing going forward? I think we do a lot of time looking back and saying, well, this happened to me, but what are we doing to repair it? What are we going to do in 2025 to, be the example to break the generational curses? Because right now I'm going through that now because my family, most of them are in Chicago, so they think alike, they move alike. They
All right.
can't stand each other, but they all think alike and they defend wrong. And so since I left, and now I can kind of see where my faults are because I didn't know I had so many problems in Chicago because I'm moving like everybody else. But sometimes when you step outside of what you're most comfortable with, you see how weird you are.
Right.
You see how people you are. And
Well,
I
see,
just want to move forward without those chains of daddy issues and weight issues and
I'm
all
glad
that kind of
you
stuff.
For
said
sure.
James because that I didn't want to lose my thought, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Dane.
Mm-mm.
go
But
ahead.
No, good. You
you
good.
go to jail. If you go to jail, they charge you with something. It's something on that piece of paper before you go to the judge. You getting charged with something. They'll just take you to jail and say you was bad or you got caught. They need to know what. They need to know the charges to make it a felony, misdemeanor. Anyway, I said all that to say because we talking about generational curses. Before you could plead a case or anything, you like I said, you got to identify it. So we'll say generational curse, but we won't call it out. Like it could be a generational curse of homosexuality. It could be a generational curse of pedophile, anything, but as long as we keep tiptoeing around it and sweeping it under the rug and not wanting to address it, it's going to remain in the family as a generational curse,
Well,
you
well,
know.
well, people always gonna tiptoe around it because nobody wants to hear the truth. You did. But at the end of the day, I've been listening to y'all. Y'all make a lot of good points. You know what I'm saying? I got all my kids. My two kids is grown. My little is 8. It's a female though. But you know, these kids, they grew up in a different world than we grew up in. See, we didn't have what they had. This social media changed the game. It just shuts everything down from where we came up, and it
Right.
starts with the household. Okay, and it's like most children, even us coming up, we emulated what we seen in our household, and we seen violence in our household all the time. That's some 9 out of 10. We became that way later
Yeah.
because we didn't understand it unless it was explained to you. See, I came up in a household where my mother's first husband used to try to beat her, and so when I grew up and she had a boyfriend, I started beating his ass
Right.
because I'm like, ain't nobody gonna ever touch my mother for what I seen coming up as a kid. See, we emulate these things, and see, it's all about the household that you come up in. If you come up in a household and it's dysfunctioncy in the whole household, it's hard for a kid to understand and learn when he doesn't have nobody that can talk to him and teach him what's wrong for right. They have to learn it on their own.
Right.
But I feel like what you just said could be interpreted in a different way. Like, you know, when you just said, okay, it depends on what household you grow up. I don't know anybody on earth that doesn't have some childhood issues, whether they had two parents, whether they were broke, whether the parents fought, whatever, on drugs, whatever. Everybody, even people with two parents, still have issues. So,
Right.
so you got an 8-year-old. The question is, what are you going to do this year in 2025 to keep your baby off pole?
I look at it like this, Sean. I look at it like this. I don't go by the year. I don't go by
Yeah,
the. I
a
just.
lot of people don't.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
I don't go by the year and the time. I just go by day. I take one.
Mhm.
And my goal is to be better than what I seen growing up. My goal is to change things. My goal is to do a lot better than I did with the first two kids.
Mhm.
Because we live in another world now. Like I said, we have to move a little different now because these kids today, all these kids today that I've been paying attention to, they all got smart moms. They talk back to their parents, and they all will go to war with you over that social media, over a tablet, or
Wi-Fi.
iPad.
Wi-Fi.
And I'm gonna tell you one thing that most, and I ain't blaming all women, Deshaun, because the reason I say, LaShawn, the reason I say women, because most women get the custody, because there's a lot of guys that don't want to go through the fighting. They try to get the custody because it's hard. They usually let the kids stay in the mother's custody. It's hard to get joint custody sometimes. Okay. And most of these women, they grow up in this social media today. When they go in the store, they keep their kid quiet. They shoving bananas in their mouth, opening up shit in the store, or they putting a tablet in their hand when they 1 or 2, and they learn how to work it. Because what does a kid do? They play and experience things, and they learn by doing. So if they learn how to work an iPad or a tablet or a phone, oh, he's so smart. Oh, she's so smart. Now that shit became the babysitter. She's not
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah. But
and
I
this,
don't think it's I'm
go ahead,
sorry. I
LaShawn.
don't
No,
think
go
it's
ahead.
just I don't think it's just moms though. I
No,
think
I
even with the
I'm
father
saying
not there.
from what I see, I'm
Yeah,
talking
no,
about from
no.
what I experience. I see
I
a
got
lot of mothers that do this. I ain't saying guys don't do it, but I don't see more guys doing it than women because guys, we more of a disciplinary.
Yeah, we want to
you.
something. We want something in their hand that's going to at least have them learn and not just occupy.
Exactly. See,
Yeah.
some
See,
people looking for a babysitter.
yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. You know, it's all it's up to that individual to stop that generational curse. You know, and I'm gonna elaborate on a few things that I that you talked about. What are we going to do, or we're going to put in place, LaShawn? You know, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. You know, these are one avenues trying to put out, you know, a positive message, letting you know, young parents, mothers, and the kids that's watching this show, you know, trying to put out good advice and put out positive things, you know. But one thing, you know, far as just whether you're a single parent or a two-family household, you have to be more hands-on with your kids, and it's all about what Skeezy was kind of elaborating on. It goes back on traits, you know, seeing what your parents, whether single or both of your parents in the house, seeing what they were doing, and I'll hit on one subject, that we had, that I got a few things that I got written down, alcoholism. A lot of kids pick up on traits like that they see their parents doing. So elaborate on that, DJ Shiny D, a little bit. Those one of the things that a lot of people are affected by. Single parents and both of their having both of their parents in the household, just seeing that family trait generation after generation, drinking and just being drunk. So I don't know if you know anything can speak on that, far as your family wise or just period, about just how alcoholism destroys a family, and it creates a generational curse.
Now, I do have recovering alcoholics that are in my immediate family. And they're good. Even after they got recovered, it was still hard because you could tell they kind of missed that alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, they wasn't as fun and as giddy. But the one thing that I can say personally that I dealt with, and I'm not going to be scared in 2025, we just going to talk about it. But I was molested by a girl cousin. And what was so funny to me is now her grandson got, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, I'm gonna say allegedly. Her
There you go,
grandson
allegedly.
was talked about, was touched by one of the other cousins, one of the other older cousins.
Okay.
And so she was the first one, like, we ain't gonna be around him no more. He need to go get help, and but you touched me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of shit. You didn't forgot, motherfucker, because I
Right.
would bring you right the
They
fuck
ain't
up.
forgot, don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, that shit is swept under the rug when you did it. But now that it is your grandson, it's a
Now you
huge
got a
deal.
problem.
Yeah. Now, what did you
It's a
confront
huge
her
deal.
ass? Did you confront her?
Well, what I did was her daughter. I was talking to her daughter, and to the cousins that touched me. I was talking to her daughter, whose son it was,
Right.
and she said, I just can't forgive that. And I told her, I said, well, your mama touched me.
Right.
So while we sitting here being mad at everybody, and we were children, she was 5 years older than me, so she was old enough to know better. But we can't cast nobody out. We try to get them help. Let's confront it. Let's
Right.
put it out there instead of putting him in the basement and acting like he don't exist and just keeping the kids away. That ain't
Right.
helping shit.
And
And
I
I
agree.
guarantee you, somebody else is gonna touch a child
Yeah, well,
because ain't nobody dealt with it.
that's been going on for generations.
Gotta get
Motherfuckers
on.
touching the kids and shit. Like you said, that definitely needs to be something that needs to be brought to the forefront and confronted. But go ahead, Dave, elaborate on that.
No, I'm just saying you got to get him help. If you know he got a problem, like you said, instead of sheltering him and isolating him, you got to get him some help. If you're not get him some help, it's going to continue to go on and go on and go on. But y'all make, like I said, once again, you make a good point, Deshaun. Y'all making some good points here. But like I said, at the end of the day, what it all boils down to, when we become, like, I didn't see a lot of alcohol a lot in my household because my mother worked a lot. You know what I'm saying? My mother was working in the plant at a young age. But they did have gambling parties. It was weed, it was cigarettes, it was drink. You know what I'm saying? I didn't drink a beer before at a young age, but I'm not alcoholic. I like liquor, but I'm not alcoholic. I don't smoke cigarettes. But at the end of the day, when we grow up, no matter what we was taught, we still, like Eve was saying earlier, you got a choice to make for yourself when you come to an age that you start to understand things. So I could have easily turned to alcoholic, could have easily turned to adult film. I done seen it all.
Yes. See, and
I didn't want none of that. I didn't
right.
want
And I'm glad you brought
things I shouldn't have done. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't turn for the worse for what I've seen,
Okay. Yeah, see,
you
I'm
have
glad.
a choice to make.
Go ahead, my bad, Dave. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You do have a choice to make, like E said. It comes a point you're gonna make your own decision the older you get, no matter what you're taught.
All right, so there it is right there. There's the answer to your solid question right there. Number one, how you break a generational curse, you look at the outcome of the family it has affected before you, the people it's affected before you. You know, my uncle, he was an alcoholic. All right, so he got cirrhosis in the liver now. Oh, do I want that to happen to me? No. So I'm gonna choose differently and not drink the way my uncle did. You know, if you seen your sister go in the poison ivy bush and she come out itching all the time, and every time she go in the bush, she come out itching. Then her mama went in the bush and came out itching. Do you want to go in that bush? No. So you make different decisions. You identify that bush, that's a poison ivy bush. It ain't no good coming from it. I don't know too much they use poison ivy for. You
I do not.
Right.
It's a weed.
put it in any
Okay.
type of medicine, any oil healing,
It's a
nothing.
weed.
It ain't
It's a
nothing
weed.
coming from it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
see it's something that's harmful, whether it's being any of those things we already discussed, touching kids and you ain't supposed to, cousins sleeping with cousins, uncle touching on nieces and nephews, all of that, older brothers touching on little brothers, whatever the case may be, you had a power to make a better choice. If you make the same choice, you just accepted a generational curse. You said, I want this curse. Yeah, I want my kids to accept this and be just like my daddy was. No, but or you either gonna accept it or teach your kids different. But the generational curse, it stops and it breaks with you. And once
Right.
you identify what it is and make a better choice.
Okay.
Because
Before,
things
I
you
just
grew
had
up seeing
Mhm.
that is good to see. You
but
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
before
your
y'all go on, let me say this. I want to get back to what Dave and what LaShawn was saying. See, and it goes back to kind of like what you were saying too, Dave. A lot of this generational curse things come from, us. Well, I'm not gonna say us. Well, I'll even say us because we're parents now, but
yeah.
from parents doing shit like far as drinking, smoking weed, kids seeing all type of shit doing, kids seeing shit that they shouldn't be seeing at an age, that plays a big factor, I think, in this generational curse thing that we're talking about. Parents just not, I'm not gonna say being parents, but just doing things that their parents allowed them to do when they were kids, just seeing you know what I mean? So a
I
lot of that
know.
stuff comes from that, like just not the parents, like okay, say for instance, if you got these young parents, and I don't seen this, they sitting up smoking weed in front of their kids, like you say, just shit like that, maybe having gambling parties, the kids all around, or just parties, period, not even just allowing the kids to be, in that atmosphere, so a lot of that goes back to that. And then I want to talk about what you hit it on, LaShawn. It took for you to break that family curse that what your auntie or your family member had did to you. You stopped, you confronted it, and you brought it up.
You
So it
better
wouldn't happen to
believe it.
nobody else. But go ahead,
No, yeah,
Easky.
no, we ain't looking to it. Go ahead,
uh,
E. I'm sorry.
pretty much it. You have to confront it. You have to identify it, and you have to call it out. If the police know a fugitive is in the house, they don't just say point and they like you in the house. We got it surrounded. Come out. And then he under arrest. You have to arrest that generational curse, and you got to call those spirits out. Sometimes you got to bring humiliation to a situation. You know how clothes get clean? They get agitated before they are clean. And a lot of times you may have to agitate a situation to break something, a rock. It don't break as easy. You got to chip at it. That's how we do. We teach our kids, hey, that's chipping at it right there.
Hey,
And our kids might break generational curses that we didn't have the strength to break. You never know. I
that's
Well,
remember
they're already doing that.
talk
I
about
think.
seeing what your parents do.
Mhm.
D, you was strong. You
Yeah.
you seen some things and you still was like, no, I ain't doing that. No, I don't want none. No, I'm good. I'm straight. Those is your choices. That was all your decisions, in spite of what you seen, because you had something else in mind. You had a vision. You had a goal, and you was like, no, I don't want none.
You know,
Now you of age when you can make your own rational decision. You see what I'm saying? If
right.
you
No,
want
I agree with you 100%.
to,
But do we
because
do we all agree that though that some of the traits that we've picked up on, it's been from our parents, just seeing them do
Well,
generational traits
you
or
got it
bad
from
habits, that they saw their parents doing.
well, we can't say, but I tell you this: we saw parents doing it. We seen people that was older on the streets doing it. Like you said, at the end of the day, you're going to grow up to make a decision. Now, I got a question to ask y'all. That's like, if you, even if it ain't two parents in one house, and I'm a parent here and you a parent there, if you're not on the same page, you're confusing the child. That's number one. If
Okay.
I'm showing them how to do certain things, the benefit in life, and be a better person, and then you letting them do whatever and rewarding them for fucking up, that's diffusing what I'm teaching. See, we got a lot of that going on too. That's like with my older son. You know what I'm saying? His mama let them do whatever, but when I do what I'm supposed to do, oh, I don't want to go over there. I can't do what I want over there. See what
You
I'm saying?
still taught them though, Big Dave, because when they get around their mama, they do what they want. But when they
Yeah,
around daddy, you see what you done taught them.
yeah.
So when they around not you or the mama, when they out there in the world, they know who to act like they want to act in
You
front of
damn right.
who. You see what I'm saying?
You damn right. And you know another thing, just think about it, y'all. When I came up in our household, we can see the gun out, and we knew just something about that. Don't touch it.
Right.
We knew not to touch it. My kids knew where my gun was at. They never thought about it. But these kids today, these parents be leaving guns everywhere. And every day you hear another kid blowing his brains out. Every single day. So this generation is just, to me, I'm not trying to put everything on this generation, but it's different.
I ain't gonna lie, Big Dave. I grabbed it.
Now, I want to ask y'all a question. I want to ask each and every one of y'all a question. Now, is this a good thing? Well, I'm not going to say a good thing, but do you think punishments or whoopings, like far as is generational curses? Do you think that's something that needs to be taken out of this generation? Like how we chastise or whoop on our kids, or you may have gotten your ass whooped or beat by your mama or your daddy. You know what I mean? Because I had said to myself that I was going to be a little bit more, which I didn't get physically abused or nothing like that. I got my ass whooped, but I said I was going to try to I'm not going to say break that cycle of getting, whooping on my kids' ass or nothing like that, because we got our ass whooped, we got disciplined when it was time to be disciplined. But, I said this time around, I wanted to be a little bit more, I'm not going to say lenient, a little bit more talking, just try to talk things through versus, like how I'll say my mom or my dad may have been on me. So I'll let each and every one of you guys elaborate on that. Do you think punishments or whooping is a generational thing that needs to be taken out or continue? With this new generation, I should say.
I could say that I feel like it's still a product, it's a byproduct of slavery. And I understand that, generations before us were whooped and that's their form of discipline. But I do think that it depends on the child. Like there are some children you could spank a little bit and they'll be all right, and they
Right.
could take it on the chin. But it's other kids that are really sensitive. And usually those are the kids that people, even family, pick on because they cry too much, crying too damn much. Like, damn, I can't cry, motherfucker. I feel sad right now. And I can't cry because y'all gonna make fun of me. So I think that it takes courage to break generational curses because most of the time when you start doing things different than the family unit, then you're looked at as different and you're shunned and you're talked about and you begin to not even feel comfortable there anymore. So they even want to, keep it the same because they don't see as big of a problem as you do. Since like me, I didn't left. So
Right.
now I could be outside looking in. And I see where the dysfunction is. I see where shit was fucked up. I remember my father standing on top of my mama, hitting her like this. And when I went to grab the phone to call the police, he was like, I'm gonna beat your ass if you call the police, if you don't put that phone down.
Right.
And so shit like that, stay with sensitive
Yeah.
kids.
And that's why
You
I asked
know,
that
and
question.
Yeah, so I just think that we as Black people need to be mindful that, that there are little people watching us. We
Right.
also need to make sure that we try to heal the curses that we have, going to therapy, having group sessions. And a third thing, Damon, Key ain't letting you put your hands on her back.
See,
Ain't
right.
that else?
Listen, listen. He a handful, but I'm gonna ask you that same question, Dave. Do you think that's something that we should take out the book? Like far as just
Um,
whoopings and punishments, like towards our kids. This generation of
I,
kids.
I don't think we I don't think we should completely take it out because the courts have basically took it out whenever your child can call the police on
Yeah,
you
that's
and get you
true.
locked up for domestic violence. The government has took over our households. They won't allow us to discipline our children. Now, I'm not saying that we should be getting beat, but let's look at how we grew up. We used to get paddles in school.
Yeah.
We used to get our hands with rulers.
Yeah. Gym
Your
teachers will
parents
whoop your ass.
school that call. My mama came into school and beat my ass in front of everybody. Now, did I like it?
Facts.
No. Okay.
And
My
we went
mama used to,
back to school shooting our teachers.
yeah, my mama used to punish me. It didn't do shit to me. But for some reason, when she started whooping my ass with a extension cord, because I wasn't in there. I mean, it wasn't a man in our household. So she had to do what she had to do. I'm getting big. She started putting that extension cord and punishing me. I changed my attitude. I changed. I'm not
Our
saying
kids ain't the
I
same though now. These kids ain't the same. They ain't as
no,
strong.
these kids today are suicidal. They can
Yes.
take being teased. See, we
Mhm.
came up, that's why I said the world is different now. I mean, the world is not different, it's the people in it.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
we came up totally different. See, we can handle a lot more. See, they didn't took handwriting out of school.
Yeah. Cursive.
Everything
Yeah.
is through the court now.
Mhm.
Everything. Your kid, I mean, they call the child protective service on any and every little thing. They don't even give you a chance to discipline your child. So I think
Yeah.
there should be some discipline because these kids are taking over the households. If it's a single mom, that boy get 11, he's listening to them niggas down the street that's 14 and 15. He jumping on mama now. Mama's
Hmm.
got no help.
Yep. So,
You know
but
what kids mamas now?
go ahead.
Hey, bruh. Hey, man. I know
Exactly.
a boy right
Yeah,
now
that
that's
kills
20
me when I hear
something.
that
That's how he
shit.
talked to his mama. She let him. I
Mhm.
ain't talk to you like that. I ain't got time to argue with him. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should be
See.
to answer the question. Yes, I don't think you should go too far. Like LaShawn said, these kids can't handle it like we could, but you have to find a way to keep some discipline in the house because if you don't do nothing but talk, 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 sometimes it's gonna go in one ear and out the other. You have to find a strategy. Now I ain't saying hurt them or nothing, but you got to find a strategy. Yes, that's the
But
answer.
but I
My,
do think that Black parents,
I ain't
especially,
need 'em.
we have to realize that sometimes we need help. It's not just our decision, and ain't nobody gonna tell us what to do. What if your child has a close relationship with his coach, and he talks more about things that he's feeling with his coach? That shouldn't intimidate you. What you need to be doing is having secret
There
conversations
you go.
with the
Go.
coach,
Right.
Right.
so that
Yeah,
y'all
you
on the
get in
same
with the
page.
coach so y'all can come together.
That's why I say sports are so important,
I,
instruments, activities, because coaches are essential. Coaches kept you busy and they also kept you accountable for what you did. Because your mama gonna tell your coach, I skipped school. I had to do 10 laps around the school. Like I'm still tired thinking about
Yeah,
it.
and I can even attest to what you were saying, because my mom, I come from a just single parent household, and what my mom did was, what I actually did too, I kept myself busy, within sports, so it's up to the individual to break, this generational curse. It's up to each and every individual, especially when you become an adult and you have your own family. You don't want to continue going down the same road that your parents went down. And I'm not saying that they did a horrible job or whatever, but you don't want to make the same mistakes or have your family going through the same things that you went through as a child. You know what I mean? So it's all about the individual. It's all about and what you were talking about, LaShawn, putting some type of activity, and some type of something in front of
It need
these
to be
kids
busy.
of today, because
It
without
got to be
any
busy.
responsibility, activity, you know, is going to be the other way around, you know.
Social media. It's social
Yeah.
media. It is their entertainment, and no telling what they're seeing on that, because I know very few parents that really have a parental outlook on their child's phone for real. They
Yeah.
might grab it if they're mad, or they might grab it if they kid do something, but putting the locks on it, to giving it a cutoff time, yeah, because shit, they tired.
Yep. You know, so, but
They
yeah, like I
tired.
said, at the end of the day, you know, that's what it's always going to boil down to, that individual, you know, just breaking that generational curse, you know, with their own family, you know. But before we move on to the next topic or the next discussion, I need for you guys to like, comment, and make sure that you subscribe and continue to subscribe to the show. You know, E Skeezy, what else you got on your mind?
Well, pretty much that was so deep that need to marinate. I don't want to step that you know, so much into it, you know. To answer the question before I go, I do believe we should continue to whoop their ass. I ain't saying beat them. Yeah, we had beatings, you know, but I believe that the gluteus maximum was created to take a whooping. That's why the words say, spare the rod, you spoil the child. So if he grow up spoiled, it's because a parent has spared the rod and
Right.
didn't take it to him. Now, I'm a firm believer in warning comes before destruction. I will talk to you once. I will prompt you twice. I will tell you a third time, but after that, that ain't nice for me to have to keep telling you the same thing over and over. So now I see you not learning from me verbalizing it to you. So now here come the action. And I won't hit my kids on their arm, in their face, their leg. No, directly on their butt. If I gotta have to bend over and whoop them on their butt, I make sure it's on their butt. Cause number one, if they going, somebody else see that bruise on their butt, not even saying it's a bruise, but you might leave a little whip. But if you see that, then what you doing looking at my child butt? That what lets you know it's
That's another problem.
anywhere else.
But I would love to know statistics. How
You kind
many?
of went out, LaShawn.
I went out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not. You sound far away.
Oh, I don't know why.
Sound like your speaker went out.
I'm calling you or something.
Yeah, but go until she come back in. Go ahead, Dave, and say what you was gonna say.
You know what we missing, y'all? Big mamas.
Unmute
in
yourself
the
now.
house.
I agree.
Big mamas. Let me tell you, my grandma was she come from Columbia, Georgia. She didn't give a damn. She would shoot your ass. She would beat you with a 2x4. You better not disrespect your mother. You better not disrespect no authority. No adult, period. It was yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. It wasn't what? Huh?
So
Man.
what do we all think? What we think happened to those family traits? You know, well, all the big mamas gone now. You know, I ain't gonna say what happened to them, but
They
you know,
must have right me, baby.
Go ahead,
Big
LaShawn.
mamas was the matriarchs of the family, man. They kept
Can you guys hear me? Can
Yep,
you
there
guys
you
hear
go.
me
You
better?
back in. Yeah.
All
back.
right, cool. I would like to know the statistic. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, B.
Star back.
Oh, go back. You said?
I said stars back.
Oh, there's a star. Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
All right. So I would like to know, what are the statistics of young girls being spanked or whooped, physically disciplined by their fathers, and girls that grow up to be in abusive relationships?
That's a good one right there.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's definitely a good. You know,
that's a good one right
there.
Yeah, you know, we would have to look that one up.
Most girls are daddy's little girl to the fathers, and the boys are a mama's boy, because our daughters seem to get away with a lot with the fathers. You know what I'm saying? Daddy, daddy. And you just be like, that's my little baby. You know what I'm saying? And you let her get it. Yeah. We kind of disciplined them with voice and getting on them and telling them what we're going to do. But for the most part, like my first daughter, every now and then I was spanking, but I didn't feel good about it. But my son, he getting the business.
Yeah.
Right. See let me say this before you go in, E Skeezy. Go ahead, E Skeezy. I'll go ahead. I'll come back.
y'all said what we was talking about earlier though. You said LaShawn talking from a mother's point of view, and we both talking from a father's point of view. That's just how soft and lenient a mother can be versus a father. And neither one of them is wrong, because they need that motherly love, and compassion and great
Exactly.
mercy. I
But
get
I'm not a mother. I'm
so
not a mother.
that sternness. They need that
Yeah.
punishment. Sometimes they do need
Hmm.
that ass whooping,
They do.
to let them know they not finna breeze through life like that. As easy as mama was with you, everybody in the world ain't gonna be with you. It's funny, and it's just a little humor. But my son, sometimes if something happened, he'd be like, Mama, if he cut himself, Mama. But I was like, boy, when you play football and somebody pop you or something, you can't look up in the stand like, Mama. But daddy gonna teach you, man up, suck it up. You all right? He gonna make sure you all right, but suck it up. And it's the same way with as they get older.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm really coming to y'all from a wounded little girl.
Right.
Is what I'm coming to
Okay,
you as,
like
because I'm
even
not a
from the
mama.
little girl point of view, my daughter
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to recognize domestic violence. It should be like out of the ordinary. Oh, run from that. She'll be taught this is how a man's supposed to teach you. But that's no reason to spare her from getting her ass whooped. A mama want to physically put hands on the daughter. No, like Big Dave say, it hurt me to whoop my daughter, but I know if I don't, it's just gonna make her worse.
Right.
So I will whoop her on her butt too.
Right. And let me say this before I lose my train of thought. I think the fathers that was there to
she
whoop.
still get whooped on the butt. That might be something she into.
Right. And I'm gonna
I'm
answer
gonna
your
tell you
question
something.
too,
It
LaShawn.
affected me.
And I say that the fathers that were there to whoop their daughters' butts or asses, I think they probably grew up with a little bit more stability, and I think a little bit more well, I'm not gonna say responsibility, but a little bit that put a little bit fear in their heart, of just consequences, when they dad came to them and chastised them about certain things that they did wrong versus not having your father in there to whoop your ass or be able to talk to you. Most of them had to go out and kind of bump their heads on their own and learn from mistake. So a lot of
And
us
I believe
had to grow
that's
up
the
and learn from
domestic
mistake. Go ahead,
violent
Lee
part.
Steezy.
I believe that's the domestic violent part right there, because a woman grow up and don't know how to control herself because she didn't get a whooping from her daddy, and then get out there and don't want to stop or slow down and talking to the wrong man, and he accidentally put his hands on her, or not
But
accidentally, he meant to do it. Like, bitch, shut up, and but everybody wasn't raised like that, and it'll
But
take
I
him.
could tell you that's the interpretation from a man's point of view, outside looking in. From a woman's perspective, growing up, my father has whooped me once.
Okay.
And I tell you, it's the worst whooping I ever got, only because of his disappointment in me on having to whoop me.
Right.
But seeing how he was so angry and so physical with my mother, when he whooped me, I actually felt like he
He
really
was
loved
taking it
me.
out on you.
And I can tell you that the first three major boyfriends I had, they didn't put their hands on me a lot, but when they did, I was eager to take them back because I felt like they really must love me. You know what I mean? Because of how I saw my father behave.
I get it.
So that's a curse. And I can't move forward. I can't move forward with that baggage, because no new man deserves old baggage. So that's one of the things that I did to break my curses. Was I found a Black male therapist.
Okay.
That I start sessions on Tuesday. I made me a vision board so I could be a little bit more focused. I got a gym membership, so we've been going every day. So it is just doing the opposite of what I have been doing, because it is giving me the same result.
Right. See, and you took it upon yourself to stop it, that generational curse. Even though you didn't have kids yourself, what you were going through, you wouldn't get help. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of us, Black folks. We do not seek professional help. And I think that what allows a lot of these generational curse things that we're talking about to even to continue to go on, not getting outside help sometimes, or just not even speaking to someone. So you started right there, LaShawn, with getting the help. I think you answered your question, and I think you'll go on to be able to get the help you need, and just be able to talk to someone, and and just get through that.
I do
for sure.
I do agree with LaShawn, though. What I do experience in these days and time, based on, see, when we was growing up, we found activities. Our parents didn't even have to enroll us in it. We played basketball, we played football, we played baseball, we went swimming. I mean, we went to all the recreation. We found stuff to do. We flew kites. We did it all.
We ain't had no iPhone.
No, these kids,
right.
They couch potatoes, but I do agree with LaShawn. If you find a bunch of activities, and today these activities cost a lot of money, because my 8-year-old just had cheerleading. It cost us damn near $1,000. And and they wanted more money. We like, no more money. They tripping. Now they want to go out of town as an additional $400. It's like, it's a money grab now. It's not like PAL ain't like it used to be when I grew up.
Right.
Today, all that shit is a money bag. You got programs for your kids to put them in, but if you can't afford it, where you at now?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look,
you find there are resources. There are resources out there, but you also have to be a present parent. You have to be a parent that is actively, because breaking anything requires work and motion. And so you have to be ready to go to different ends to find, because there are park districts who are very reasonable. And, so there are programs out there for your child to be in. So it is just really keeping them busy. And there's nothing wrong. What's wrong with us getting up on a Saturday morning and going for a hike, in the park or something? You know what I mean? What's wrong with that?
Whatever it takes.
Right.
Whatever it takes. I'm with you.
There you go, Dave. Whatever it takes. So, LaShawn, I'll have you give the last words on this conversation. I don't have anything else to add, and then we can go in and close out the show.
I just want to say, I want to tell especially Black people, because it does seem like we are transitioning. Black people are making more money. They're doing better, fiscally. They're doing better socially. Well, I'm not going to say socially. They're doing better online with making money. So they're not, really necessarily having a 9 to 5 anymore. They're making money on TikTok and YouTube. So to me, that was breaking a generational curse, because we ain't working for nobody. We working for ourselves. And I think that was huge. But I do think that we have more work to do. With us, I just feel like if I want to get into a relationship with a man, especially a Black man who is probably coming to me wounded himself, it's always good to work on yourself first. Let me work on myself individually first, and then we can have sessions together, even if there's no problem. We're just trying to move forward and learn how to talk to each other so that we can have an adult conversation without those triggers, those childhood triggers getting into the conversation, which usually takes it in another direction. So I just think we need to be more open-minded with real healing. And that's outside of the Black church. That's outside of weed. That's outside of liquor. That's outside of the club. That's outside of everything else. Sometimes you just need to sit and talk to somebody that you respect. So whether that's a therapist or an older uncle, whoever it is, I think that Black men need to be heard, and they need to be able to be themselves. Because if Black men continue to heal themselves, it's going to set the precedent. They already telling these women, we don't like all this shit on your face. We want a natural woman. We want workout. You ain't got to go have all this surgery. And women are still doing what they want. But if men keep up on that, women are going to give up on that shit.
Yeah, and I'm glad that's another conversation. Glad you brought that up. But Big Dave, give us your last words on how what you would tell people what they can do to break a generational curse.
Number one, we need to learn to listen to one another. And we need to learn to stay on the same page. I'm talking about parents and family members that's in that household with them children. If we all work together and stay on the same page and teaching these children other things you give them, if you don't give them other options, they won't search for other options. You know what I'm saying? So just everybody got to stay on the same page and do their part and pay attention to what's going on around that household and outside that household so they have a better understanding about life. And that's all I can give you on that. And keep your kids in any activities that's out here. Look for the activities because they're out here and put them in it and be involved with them with doing it. That's what I got to
Because
say.
PS5 can't be all they do.
Right. Skeezy, give everybody your last words on this conversation. How can they break the generational curse? Give them what words of wisdom you're going to give them.
Well, like I was saying earlier, you saw the outcome or, what it did for them. If it led you to being broke, I'm different. Yes, I'm different. If it led you to being a crackhead, I'm different. Yes, I'm different. If it led you to being locked up and in jail, I'm different. Yes, I'm different. It's all going to boil down to a choice to you doing different. That's the only way it could be broken. But if you fall into the same cycle, the same pattern, all you doing is passing down and around, like the coronavirus when it was going around. You want to keep your kids safe, away from it, and even if somebody had it that you cared about, you kept them away from your kids, it got to be the same thing. You got to watch their intake, what you talk about around your kids. Some kids are too young for the information and the conversations we be having. So just be mindful of what you let your kids watch and hear.
Can I add something, Damon?
Go ahead.
Just one quick thing. And don't be afraid to not be courageous. Don't be afraid to not be the black sheep of the family because you think different. If you think different, if your gut is telling you that it's not right, do your best to leave where you're from and go and explore other places and live somewhere else. That's really where I found out who I was when I got out of that kind of environment. And everybody there is wounded. They just sweeping shit under the rug. Ain't nobody healing shit.
See, and I was going to say that earlier, and I lost my train of thought. And I was going to say that. So you started by getting yourself out of that state, out of that place, and by moving on and doing what you did, but it's all up to the individual. By first owning up to that family trait. First owning up to that curse, and just educating yourself, and like LaShawn said, trying to keep yourself healthy, for yourself, and then for your family, therefore, you're able to be able to lead, so it's definitely been a great conversation. I love when you come on the show, LaShawn, and give us your advice, when you speak. And Big Dave, I just want to continue to thank you for coming on the show, blessing us with your talk. I don't have anything else to add to the show. LaShawn, let everybody know what you got going on, where they can reach you.
Well, I go back to work Monday, so that's a big thing in my life.
Man.
But I'm cool. I'm ready. I'm rested. I feel good. I'm ready to move forward, and I'm still making shea butter at glossSheabutter.com.
Check her out. Big Dave, let everybody know what you got going on, where they can reach you.
Well, number one, I'm feeling good, and it's always an honor to come on the Dane D Show. Just kick that preach that word or whatever you want to say it is. But y'all can reach me as Real Talk with WIT Big Dave. You can get me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Big Dave Crawford. And if anything y'all want me to talk about or put out here, or y'all want to come on my show, you can get with me. My email address is DS for Dave Craw, CRAW, number 1, boy, number 2, at gmail.com.
There we go. Yep, and look, and generational health is something that's real. And like I said, it starts with the individual to be able to recognize, what that generational curse is, and just being able to try to, put an end to it, put a stop to it. You know what I mean? So it's been another one. It's your boy Dame D.
And your boy Easy.
We are out. Peace.
Peace.
Holla.